Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Culture. My name is Hannah.
And I am Jordan. Today we have our news release of the week. We'll be talking about Kevin Feige's latest comments about the idea of becoming the executive at Lucasfilm. We also have model Claire. I'm gonna butcher this last name. Hannah, do you know how to say it? Because I don't. I'm not.
Caesars. Clair
Caesars.
Caesars. There we
Yes.
go. There we go.
Caesars. Yeah, I
Yeah,
also
boom.
can't read. So we have model Clair Caesars here with us, joining us today later in the show.
Ooh, yeah, it's going to be a good time. We also have our amazing meme review, which is only a new segment to our season 2. So that's a good time where we review the best Star Wars memes from the galaxy. We're also later on going to be talking about the best scum and villainy of the galaxy as well. We're going to talk about who is the best villain in all of Star Wars. Claire's going to join us for that segment as well later on. But before we get there, what else do we have going on today, Jordan?
Well, first, I'd like to say hello to our engineer, Nikk. Are you there,
Nick?
friend?
I am
How are you
here.
today?
Hello.
Doing peachy. Just finishing packing up over in Mustafar to come over and join y'all.
Love
in
it.
Coruscant. We're
Love
hanging
it.
out in the Jedi. Are we in the Jedi Council right now? I think we
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
I think we
that's
are.
right.
Yeah.
The
Getting there. We're getting the chairs together.
Yeah, but thank you
That's
guys so
right,
much
yes,
for
we
checking
gotta-
us out. If you want more pop culture content, um, go to follow at Culture Slate on Instagram, Culture Slate on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, all of it.
Yeah.
And my social media is at T Blue Pulsar. Hannah, what's yours?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Raeside, like how it's spelt on the screen. And also, if you want to get more exclusive, juicy content, you can find us over on Patreon. At patreon.com/culture slate. I always forget the handle. I think that's it. But you can find all our good stuff over there. You can see behind the scenes footage, photos, things from before the show starts and before we're live that no one else can see. And as you may know, we did a fantastic interview with the actor Emily Swallow, also known as the Armorer, where we can find that interview on our YouTube, but there's also some secret questions that me and Jordan asked her that is only available on Patreon. So be sure to check that out. Now, let's talk about some news, Jordan. Let's talk about the hot goss of the week. What's going on? What's going on in the Star Wars universe?
Well. Kevin Feige said, and this is like, some of y'all are not going to be happy, but
yeah. Let's get to it.
Kevin Feige said he is not interested in an executive role at Lucasfilm. And the quote reads, "It was announced in 2019 that Feige would produce a Star Wars movie. There were rumors that he might assume more control of Lucasfilm. However, insiders say that Feige is fully committed with his Marvel duties and has no ambition to lead Lucasfilm or take more of a role."
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
So the direction and executive control over Star Wars Lucasfilm is something that's been a hot topic ever since George Lucas sold the company to Disney, and we have Kathleen Kennedy in that role at the moment, and that's always been quite a contentious topic for a lot of Star Wars fans, all Star Wars fans really. So, and a lot of people don't agree with how things are being run and don't want her in that position and all these kinds of things and have a lot of arguments for it. So Kevin Feige, I'm pretty sure everyone would know Kevin Feige, but he is the lead man at Marvel. He is, do you know his actual title, Jordan? Is it executive? Executive. So Nikk, what's Kevin Feige's official title? Do you know? For Marvel, it's executive. Let's look this up. But he's just the executive. Let's just call that. But he has a lot of control and reign over in the Marvel universe, and so it's come out that he was to produce a Star Wars movie. So a lot of people, like all Star Wars fans, do love to kind of hold on to one tiny piece of information and blow it up to a lot of different ideas and rumors that could happen from that. And that is the potential that, Kevin Feige is going to take over. This is the start of him, taking the reins of Lucasfilm, which I blatantly disagree. I think. Well, yeah, I disagree. I disagree with that. I think we've blown it out of proportion, and I think he's just going to produce a Star Wars movie. I think it's going to be all that, full stop. And he had said himself that he's got no ambition to lead Lucasfilm. And I think if you're going to lead Lucasfilm, you need a little bit of ambition to do that. What do you think about all this, Jordan? What is your take?
I kind of agree with what you're saying. He should just produce his movie and be done. That's pretty much how I feel. Because a lot of the rumors piggyback off of, he should take over for Kathleen Kennedy, and I'm not really down for that. Everyone is exactly where they need to be as far as making Star Wars happen. I don't really see a need to disrupt that dynamic like at all. I mean, honestly, that's all I have to say about the Feige situation.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting. You hear that point of it's a lot of it just comes from people. A lot of people don't like Kathleen Kennedy, which entitled to your opinion. Like Star Wars fans very often own their opinion. But if we look at the positives that have come out under Kathleen's tutelage or leadership, we have gotten The Mandalorian, we've gotten a Bad Batch series, we have gotten Clone Wars season 7. A lot of fans loved the sequel trilogy and adored it, and it's an incredible asset to the Star Wars universe. And we have all these positives and incredible impacts that has come under her as she was leading it. And I think a lot of people forget, a lot of people talk about Mandalorian being, one of the most fantastic pieces of Star Wars to come out in terms of storytelling and all the facets of what Mandalorian is. And Kathleen was like an executive producer on that show. Executive producer. She was, maybe Chris can fact check me there in the chat. But she had her hand was in that show to produce it a fair amount. So there's a lot of positives coming out of the leadership of Star Wars now, and of course there's always times to kind of grow and learn from, but we also got to look at the positives and what's the good stuff. The good stuff, you know what I mean? And I think I think you agree with me, Jordan, there, that it's like, yes, you can have your opinion, but look at the positives that's coming out of her leadership.
Oh yeah,
do you
definitely.
agree?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, a lot of people only tend to look at what happened with the sequels and just lose their minds as far as what Kathleen Kennedy should and shouldn't do and blah blah blah. And it's they wanted her to get fired and all this other crazy stuff, and I disagreed. Just because you didn't like the movies doesn't mean Kathleen Kennedy isn't doing her job. And like you said, there's been so many great things that have come from her ever since she took over, I guess. So it just seems weird that people want her to be gone so bad, and to be replaced with Kevin or Dave or John or anything like that. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are exactly where they need to be. Just because you like The Mandalorian and the Clone Wars doesn't mean they need to take over Kathleen's role, because if they take that over, then that essentially somewhat means that they can't make all the things that you claim to love so much. So
yes, exactly. I think you're right. Yeah, Dave and John, I think, are exactly where they need to be. Taking the reins of things that they should be taking the reins of. And yes, correct. She Kathleen Kennedy was an executive producer. I don't know why I'm struggling to say producer. There we go. On the Mandalorian show. So, it just goes to show, look how successful that show was, and she had such a great hand in that production of it. Chad Benty in the chat as well says, Kevin is doing great work over there in the Marvel. Why would he want to move? That's full stop. Like that, it should be like that. That isn't a question. Full stop. It's like think of the amazing work he's doing in the Marvel universe. It's renowned for its fantastic all those facets of the stories coming together. And I know that a lot of people kind of want to see that in Star Wars and replicate it in Star Wars, which I think we're starting to get a feeling of. Mando series, Boba series, Andor series, Kenobi series. Like, we're getting all these fantastic different sides of the Star Wars universe. And I think that's kind of happening with how Marvel is doing things. But it doesn't mean that Kevin should jump ship to the galaxy far, far away. John Dave, creators, not producers. Chad also says that's a good point, and I think that's what Jordan was saying just then too. They're amazing creatives, and sometimes that they should just be left to do the creating. Very good. Yeah, that's our hot goss for the week, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good times. Good times. What is up next, Jordan? What are we doing next?
Well, we're going to have our wonderful guest, Clair Caesars, joining us.
Yes.
Right about now.
We're going to welcome her in. Here she is. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Thank you for having me, you guys.
Thank you for being here.
I'm very excited.
How are you today? How are you feeling on this fine day?
I'm lovely. I'm just stoked to talk Star Wars and just
wonderful.
Yeah, we'll have
we
fun.
are so excited to have you. And yes, we're just going to be talking about Star Wars and the good times that it is today.
Perfect.
Now tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started into these Star Warsy questions. So we hear that you've done modeling work. Your Instagram is just magical, by the way. I looked through it the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, she's like a goddess. Oh my
gosh, thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do with yourself?
I do a whole lot of everything. No, I am so let's see, a lifelong Star Wars fan, but I'm also a model. Man, I used to have my own dog business. Like, I walked and took care of dogs, and but yeah, now I'm like a model, writer, more artist. Direction.
Wonderful. We're all creatives here, so that sounds good to us.
Exactly. Right. I know, like, you just like, I'm a creative, like, that's it.
Yeah. Oh, full stop. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Now we have gotten a holocron message that from far, far away, that you are a very, very big Ventress fan, a Asajj Ventress fan.
From, what a queen.
Of course, the queen, exactly. The wonderful character from the Clone Wars series, if no one's caught up on that series. She's a fantastically mysterious and just so curious, and we want to know more about her, but you're a really big fan of Ventress. Can you tell us a little bit where that love came from and how you kind of connected with her?
Well, it was kind of a fluke thing, to be honest with you. Like, I grew up on the original trilogy. That was like how I was first introduced. So I had no idea about Ventress. Like, I pretty much like stuck to watching the movies for the most part, because I was like, I felt too overwhelmed by the rest of the universe. Like, I wanted to know more, but I was like, where do I start? And like, and then earlier this year, I cut my hair and like got my face tattooed. And I was literally just like scrolling on Reddit one day, and I saw a picture of Ventress on there. And I was like, who is this? Like, she seems really cool. And so then I started looking her up, and then been watching the Clone Wars. And I just like super connected with this character because she's such a badass. Like, she's so cool. Right? Like, she's like, so basically when I was always a little kid, I always thought like Darth Maul was like the coolest villain. Like, I was like, oh man, he's awesome. And I always was frustrated when I was younger that like there weren't any like bad like female characters, like more like evil kind of. And so then when I found Ventress, I was like, oh, I like her. She's like something totally different. And then it was right after I had shaved my head and like tattooed my face, and I was like, oh, that's really weird. I kind of look like her a little bit. So then I
Yeah.
started to stand, like I started to stand her a whole lot more, where I was like, yeah, then I just became obsessed. Like I started like trying to find out like her whole backstory, and now I just like, I want to know more
Oh, incredible.
about her.
So
But
good.
she's just so cool. Like I just like I know everyone loves like Ahsoka. I love Ahsoka and stuff too. Like I love a strong female, like any of the strong female characters. But yeah, Ventress, there's something about her where I'm like,
Yes,
she's very interesting.
Also the voice. Her voice is just so good. I love her. It's like just the little inflection in her voice when she pronounces like Kenobi, my dear Kenobi. And I'm like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah. Really good point that you have there. That is, we didn't see a lot of female like evil characters or Sith, or just dark side characters in general, and that was very enjoyable to see, and especially in like a kid series, because it's always good to have the Ahsoka, the good and the good role model, but then to have this kind of contrasting, but Ventress still had that kind of very graceful essence about her, and she was very she had this fantastic flow to her, and it was very interesting to have that in like in a kid series, but come on, all us adults love it. Oh, so good, so good.
I just thought she's just so cool. Like I started like I just want to know all more about her. I want to see more of her.
Yeah, incredible. Yes, Jordan, what else have we got here?
Another question we have is, do you think we will see Ventress in any other storytelling, more specifically like TV? Because I know like we see her in like comic books, and like I think she has her own book with Quinlan Vos. So like, do you think / hope? Because I know I hope I see her in shows.
I'm hoping for sure. Yeah, because she does have that whole side. She has a book. I ended up getting it because I became like totally obsessed.
Yeah.
And so I'm just really curious about like what direction. There's so many different directions they can take with her story. I love her connection with like Obi and Anakin. Like there's so much they can do with her. So I have my fingers crossed and wishful thinking that they will end up making it some sort of TV, like we'll get to see more of her. I think that she could add a lot to the universe in general, because I think her story is cool in the fact that she's like, she kind of started as an Ahsoka, and then later on, you just sort of see how people can get twisted around to the dark side and wrestle with that. She reminds me of like she actually reminds me of Anakin a lot in that way too. So I just love that. I'm hopeful.
That's a fantastic take, and you have a good point there, because I just remembered the whole arc of Ahsoka leaving the Order, and that massive arc that she goes on, and Ventress is quite a detrimental piece to that story, where Ahsoka teams up with Ventress.
Yeah,
they're together.
That's the best scene in the whole show.
Like all of a sudden,
right?
They're like,
they're just like buddies, and it's like, oh, hang on, this is a good character, this is a bad character, but they found so many similarities in each other, and connected with each other really well. And it's always so interesting to see Star Wars do that, where it does have this strong storyline of the good versus evil, but then when you get down to it, you're like, hang on, there's actually a lot of gray area here, where like these two characters that we thought were good and evil like really cross over with each other. But I love that whole storyline of Ventress being like with Ahsoka for a lot of that, dramatic time. It's Ventress,
my favorite part of that episode is when Ventress told Anakin about himself and was like, you guys left her, how could you?
Yes. I feel like she really like she made them think about like some of the things that they did, where they were like, oh, maybe we're not all that amazing like we think we are all the time,
like made them rethink their life. Oh, so good. Now, can we ask also about your fantastic tattoos?
Oh,
Your
yeah,
tattoos are just
sure.
beautiful. So you've got one across your kind of the side of your head there. There you go. That's incredible. So
Yeah.
where was the inspiration for that, and where did that come from?
It was a total okay, so I was a high fashion runway model for 15 years, signed with an agency, like traveled across the United States. You know,
Yeah.
I've done New York Fashion Week, blah, blah, blah. But I did like all like the traditional modeling stuff. And when you're with an agency, you don't really get to control how you look, you know, like they pretty much decide. And so then in January, I had a bit of a life change and decided to part ways with them so that I could have more creative control over the direction my career goes. And I've wanted to shave my head for like forever. And I was too scared to. And my friend, my tattoo artist, one night I like messaged her. I'm like, I just really want to shave my head. Like, and she was like, okay. She's like, you know what? Let me come up with a really cool design for your head if you were to like shave it. She's like, if you come over tomorrow, I'll shave your head and I'll put a tattoo on it for free. I was like, and then she sent me this pattern. And like I saw it and I was like, that is like some cool android looking like futuristic stuff that like I totally love. That was all my artist's idea. Like that's just her style. She's like really cool. But like I just thought, she was like, yeah, this will make you like, this will just be a great like representation of starting fresh. And so that's really like
that's
how that all came about.
It's very Star Wars, might I say. It's very like you could easily be a character in Star Wars with that tattoo. It's
I mean, and you know, like when my hair is cut shorter here, you can see it a little bit better. But like, yeah, when I that was literally what happened. It was only a few weeks after I got the tattoo and everything, when I was like browsing Reddit, and then I was like, who is this character with a shaved head that has a tattoo that looks so much like me? Like, I'm like, and she's really tall and skinny, and like, oh, okay. I'm like, so like,
that's incredible. Yeah.
Like it was a total coincidence, and I just freaked out because like when I was a kid, like with excitement, because when I was a kid, I wrote a letter to George Lucas. When I was,
tell us about that. Oh, yes.
It was after the Phantom Menace came out. So I was in like 6th grade. And I wrote a letter to them asking if I could be in a Star Wars movie.
Wow.
And I didn't I didn't know what I was doing. I was, you know, like a little kid. And I just like, this was between, after the Phantom Menace. So I was just all like, you know, I don't know, they can make me something. I'll just be a stormtrooper. Like, just put a helmet on me. Like, just let me like, let me be in the background, please.
Yeah, that is the most pure-hearted thing I've ever heard. That is so cool. Yeah. Did you hear back?
Mean, like, and so, but my one thing was, I was like, man, I don't know what character I could ever be in Star Wars, because like, I just didn't see anyone I could relate to. So anyway, then when I found her and stuff, and I was like, oh, and I have the face tattoo now. And
oh my goodness, it just makes sense. Makes sense.
They actually wrote me a letter back.
Yes. What did they say? What was their response?
Oh my God, it was really funny. I was like more of like a general like response letter, I have to say, but they were like, you know, thank you so much for your interest. And they were like, but because you're not represented by an agent, we're not able to take like outside submissions or anything like that. But they gave me like a Luke Skywalker trading card, and I still have the letter and stuff. Nice. So I was all like,
that's actually so nice.
Yeah, I was like, oh, like my like when I got that, you know, like you're like, I don't know, 10, 11 years old, and you think that is like the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Have you written to them since? Have you since?
You know, I really probably should now just be like, hey, so this is still the same, and now I look like this. So
yeah, my offer still stands.
Yes, it still stands. I will take every lesson that you need. I will learn things.
Oh, incredible. Yeah, I was gonna say you definitely could pull off like a if not a Ventress, like a Night Sister, like a
Thank you.
sister. of Ventress.
Definitely.
I think I can immediately see that happen. Yeah,
Dude, that would be, be
can
a
we
dream
petition
come
that?
true.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And we do have to mention as well. Your look is reminding me very much of Natalie Portman. I'm getting very much Natalie Portman vibes.
Another queen.
Exactly, a literal queen too. Another literal
Thank
queen.
you.
Yes.
Yeah, literal is exactly that.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, she shaved her head in what's the movie? It's fleeted my brain.
Was
What's
it
that?
Black Swan?
Yeah, V for Vendetta. Thank you.
I
Yes.
thought it was Black Swan.
Okay.
Don't mind me.
Oh, Jordan, I love that so much.
Don't mind me.
Yes, but Natalie Portman, she is our wonderful prequel queen.
She's amazing.
What was your takeaway from her as a character as a whole, and her talking about the grace and elegance that kind of Ventress had, in an evil way? What did you think of Natalie or Queen Amidala's role in the Star Wars universe?
Well, I just think she's amazing too. I mean, I'm a big fan of any of the female characters, Leia but Natalie Portman. So obviously I was obsessed with the prequels, like, because that was really when I'm obsessed with the originals, but then obsessed with the prequels. And seeing Natalie Portman in that, I just thought, like, it was cool to see her being both the queen, but then on the side, like, she's like able to fight, and she's, tough and everything. I mean, I suppose Leia does that too, but Natalie
Aggressive
Portman
negotiations.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Like, it's like she just, when I was watching, I remember just watching those for the first time, and she's not that much older than I am, but I just remember thinking, like, how is she so confident? How is she able to be like this? And I just loved, like, the first time you watch that and you find out that, like, she's Queen Amidala, and you're like, oh my God, I didn't notice that. I didn't see that coming. Like, you know how you like, do you remember the first time?
What happened? What?
Like the first time you watch that and she's like standing there with Boss Nass, and you're like, what just happened? But like, like, I just, like, because I literally didn't see that coming the first time I saw that. Like, I don't know, I was surprised when I was a kid. I was like, they tricked me.
How dare they? How dare they?
But then I just thought that was so cool. Like, she's just such a powerful and strong character, that in all of her films, honestly, but like definitely in Star Wars and Queen Amidala's.
Literal queen. Jordan, did you get shocked the first time we found out she was the queen? Do you remember that moment, seeing it for the first time?
No, because I was in the room watching it with my dad, and he wouldn't shut up about it prior to that scene. I was like, okay, I get it.
He should have given you spoiler warning. Come on.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad.
Oh man.
Oh, that's so good.
That was a thing that happened. Mm-hmm.
That's actually really funny.
Too good. Now we have one of my favorite parts of the week. We have our meme review, where we look at the best memes of the Star Wars galaxy. Now, I think we've sent these memes over to you, Claire, so you can open them up in the chat. Do you have the memes there?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. Well, we're going to pop them up on the screen for the audience as well. So we'll look at this first one, which is a message excerpt of someone asking, so is Asajj Ventress a Sith? I'm glad you asked. 6 hours and 6 hours and 94 minutes? How does 94 minutes work? But it's going to take that long. It's going to take that long to explain. Is she a Sith? Well,
what exactly?
What is a Sith? What does, that whole question, which is really apt, because I was actually thinking of this just to myself before the show. I was like, she's trained, but she's out of it, and then I don't know, like, if there's only 2 Sith, we've got more than 2. It can't, it's really, it's hard to it's really hard to like explain. Is she a Sith? What would your answer to that question be if you had less than 6 hours to explain it?
In other
Mine
words,
would-
don't take 6 hours to explain it.
well, what if I wanted to? No.
That's so good.
Oh my God.
No, wishful thinking. Yes, that makes her more of a baddie.
That's true.
But but I think
A
that's what's so
baddie.
cool, and that's why we need more Ventress content, because
Yeah,
look at
yeah.
how much they need to explain in order for you to try to understand it.
Yep.
Exactly. Oh, amazing.
What would you say though? What do you think?
I think I don't think she is a Sith.
Yeah.
Let me just say that.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I think she has Sith-like arts, and she's definitely trained in it. I don't think she is a Sith, though.
Yeah.
I think that's my takeaway.
Mhm.
Jordan, let's. Can you read me the second meme for us?
It says every time Ventress encounters Obi-Wan, and she's like, "Oh my God!" and Obi-Wan's like holding his
Yeah.
beard or whatever.
Can
and
we
then
talk about the sexual tension between these two characters? What the hell
Yes.
is going on?
It's
They're
ridiculous.
something else. Do I ship it? Kind of, yes. It just depends on who you ask. But yeah,
I mean, love Satine, but come
Yeah.
on, Ventress and Obi.
yeah.
Woo!
And then you have Palpatine on the bottom. It's only natural, and he's right. He's right. He's absolutely right.
Oh my goodness, my
Yeah.
dear Obi. Oh,
No,
just
they're
the way
two-
he says that.
Yes.
Their
Oh.
scenes together are always so they're just classic. I think
Yeah.
it's just really funny.
It's also just like because you look at their dynamic versus like Anakin and Ventress's dynamic, because they're just kind of like, I'm here to kill you, and Anakin's like, same, me too. Like one of us is going to walk out of here dead. So
Yeah, absolutely. And then she just has that tension. Ooh,
Yep.
Obi.
yeah.
Oh,
What's up with that?
Oh, so good.
Oh,
Um,
God, I love it.
Oh, this third meme, it's just so factually correct.
Yes.
So it says Sarge Ventress came out of the womb with her brows done, wearing lipstick and eyeliner, the baddest bitch. I don't know if we can say that in the whole galaxy. So true. I hadn't thought about this until I saw this meme, because we have this like flashback scene of Ventress as a baby.
Yeah.
And she looks like incredible.
I know,
looks
like look at her right there. Like it's like
her brows are
Yeah.
perfectly like contoured, and
yeah.
the lipstick. It's just incredible. I mean, what a look for a baby.
She's like ready to go. Like
Right? Yeah, she's just ready to pull out of the gate. Yeah,
right.
she's coming at it.
I love it.
Oh, so
She's always on
good.
point. Always on point.
Yes, eyebrows on fleek. Eyebrows on
Exactly.
Eyebrows on bleak.
Incredible. So those were our memes of the week there.
They're great.
Now, if anyone watching and later on watching as well, if you have a juicy meme to share with us at Star Wars Culture, be sure to hit us up on our Instagram or Facebook, Star Wars Culture, or on Instagram we are at our Star Wars Culture. And you can send us your memes, and we may be able to review them. Now, what have we got happening up next, Jordan? What is our next chat we are going to have?
We're gonna be talking about these villains. We're gonna be asking y'all and asking ourselves and asking each other, who is really the best villain of the Star Wars galaxy?
It's a big question. It's a very big question.
It really is.
Yeah, because
yeah.
Star Wars has built this legacy and history of villainy in the pop culture world, definitely.
The
Of course,
galaxy far, far away, you will never find
Yes.
a more ratchet hive of scum and villainy.
thank you. There we go.
Ben Kenobi,
Exactly.
1977.
He called it, and it set the precedent for all villains to come. Of course, we have our wonderful Darth Vader, Daddy Darth Vader back there. Thank you, Darth Vader.
Daddy Darth
And
Side.
you know, right? and he really changed the villainous ways and storyline of pop culture, in my opinion. Definitely, coming out of the late 70s, and he's still one of the most iconic, evil, bad characters of the movie world. So we have this great history of villains in Star Wars. And like what we started to mention before, the story of good and evil. That's definitely a very strong notion in the Star Wars storytelling world of the good and the bad and the light and the dark. But like what we mentioned before, a lot of that is grey. It's not that black and white sometimes, and it going from evil to good to evil. That storyline is often threaded throughout Star Wars. So we're going to go through, and Claire, we're going to just hit you straight away, because we are going to tell our top 3 villains of the Star Wars universe.
Okay.
And we'll go like one by one, and
All right.
we'll build up to our number 1. So what we're going to do, I'm going to say, well, actually, I'm going to get you to start, Jordan. I want to tell us your 3rd favorite villain of Star Wars.
3rd favorite is Maul.
3rd favorite is Maul. Okay, and
yeah.
why?
Because he just, I don't know. He's my favorite, but not over the other 2 that I picked. That's really the only reason I have of why he's the 3rd. He's my favorite because he was just amazing in the Phantom Menace, and was causing Obi-Wan all sorts of problems in the Clone Wars. And he said he was going to make Obi-Wan work for his Jedi paycheck. Like,
that's so true.
Yeah. So, and he's just great. Night Brothers, or I guess he was a Night Brother.
Yeah, Night Brother.
It's pretty great, His double-sided lightsaber is also a plus. I gave him a few points,
A few points?
A few points. Yeah, it's actually a point system of how they are my favorite. So
that's such a good point. I just read in the chat too before we move on. Joel says, what's funny about Vader is when it comes to A New Hope, in my mind, he isn't even actually the main character. Tarkin is, at least for me. That's actually just a really good point. Just before we move on, Tarkin, he's almost is he more the villain in A New Hope than Vader is? That's a good question up for debate. Thank you, Joel. I'll give you more time to think, Claire. So I'll say my 3rd favorite villain. It's a niche one, and it's for only people that have seen the Star Wars Rebels series, which I've actually only just recently watched. This was only in the past like 12 months for me. I've watched the series. My 3rd favorite villain is Callus, is Agent Callus, and it's tricky because he's one of the characters where spoiler, I'll just spoiler this. He starts off evil, and he's this tyrannous, agent of the Empire, and he's really kind of hardcore cutthroat. But then through his story and his journey, totally softens up and joins the rebel fight in the end. But when he's in that evil stage, and he's very hard and down to the line of being evil and ruthless, he's a very good villain, and he's a very good evil presence in the show. And I think it really added to the show his anger towards the rebellion. So I really enjoyed him as a villain when he was a villain, but he did get good though. He did get good. So that's my 3rd favorite. Claire, do you have your 3rd favorite villain for us?
Oh, I'm going to seem like I'm copying Jordan, but mine's also Maul. I struggle.
We are people of taste.
Yeah,
that's all that is.
I struggle with this ranking as I'm trying to think of my top 3. But and it has switched. It switches from time to time. But I just
depending the mood. Yes,
exactly. But I just remember seeing him in Phantom Menace the first time and thinking like, this is the coolest dude I've ever seen. Like the double lightsaber. And then when he ended up coming back like for the Clone Wars, I was like, yes, I get to see more of him. So I think he's pretty, I just like his whole backstory, and he's just always causing trouble, which is good.
Causing trouble. He's troublemaker. It's like he's like that that real naughty kid in the back of the classroom in like, middle school. It's like, just shut up, man. Like, what do you want? Okay, we know you've had a hard life. Just sort it out, okay?
There was like this
so good.
meme or something that I saw where in the Phantom Menace, when he comes down and he's like just basically runs over Anakin for the first time when he's like about to start. Like, he doesn't even know.
I know
who
the meme
Anakin,
you're talking about.
You know what I mean? He doesn't even know who Anakin is. He's just gonna run over this little kid while he's going.
It's just why? What's your problem? That is so true.
Yeah, like
oh, that was, man, we're adding that meme to next week, even though we've talked about it just then. We're adding that meme. Such a good meme. Oh, incredible. Oh, okay. Second favorites now. Let's go around with our second favorites. Jordan, back to you again. What is your second favorite villain of all time?
Second favorite, of course, is Palpatine. I mean, for no other reason than he was the obvious villain. There's no really redemption. He's just kind of stuck where he's at, and like, just bad all around and disrespectful and kind of rude, he's kind of rude also.
Kind of rude?
This is kind of rude. Yeah.
That's
the whole mentally manipulating Ben Solo thing, super rude.
Absolutely. And can you please, what do you usually call Palpatine? That's not you. What you usually call him?
His name is Papa Palps.
Oh, I love that so much. Papa Palps.
Papa Palps.
He's gonna come get you. He's gonna get you.
I don't know any other name other than Papa Palps.
Papa Palps. So. Oh, love it. Well, I think, wow, we're going in a similar direction because my second favorite is Palpatine as well. For everything you've just said, the manipulation, the way he like kind of foresaw everything and orchestrated everything. And we have not talked about this show enough, but Acolyte is a new show coming, and it's about 50 years before, where was it? Before the Phantom Menace, I believe. Yeah, 50 years before the Phantom Menace. So Palpatine is alive at this point, but he's like a toddler. But I'm hoping throughout this show we get to know more about where Palpatine came from. I know there's a lot more in books and comics and such, which I need to catch up on, but the story of Palpatine. One of my things I've always wanted to know is, what was he like as a teenager? Was he like just really rude? Or was he
Probably.
You already had this whole plan.
Yeah.
I think he was.
Yeah. So second favorite, definitely Palpatine, for his hand and everything he had. And Claire, what is your second favorite evil character?
I think this one's a little bit like, it's just kind of obvious, but it's gonna be Ventress. Like,
yes. Oh, she's not first. Oh, yeah. I'm so intrigued.
I know she's not first. But yeah, there's so much to her and so much potential there. And like I said, I just love her whole arc where it's kind of the same thing. It's like she's sort of good, sort of bad, it's just always it makes it really relatable for you as a human being when you're watching that stuff. So I like her a lot, but
absolutely,
it might just be for vain reasons.
Because you are one of her night sisters. Yes,
exactly.
Yes,
so
you are.
We are part of the sisterhood together. So
we love that.
So good. Now we are up to our number ones, and before we say our number ones, be sure, if you're in the chat, drop us down your number one favorite villain, and see if we have similar thoughts. So yes, make sure you tell us in the chat below your favorite villain. Jordan, your number one favorite Star Wars villain.
My number one Star Wars villain is Gar Saxon, because he's just kind of great and underappreciated. And he's beautiful. What?
He's oddly attractive. He's like upset, like it's like annoying.
Listen,
it's like
Dave Filoni had no business doing that in the Siege of Mandalore, making him look like that. No business. None.
That is so true.
Dave and
so
I gotta
true.
have a talk.
You've got a good point though, that he's very underrated. Not like he's only in Siege of Mandalore and then a couple of episodes of Rebels, and he's got a very interesting character, and I wish we got more of him because he's very interesting in his Mandalorian views. But maybe we'll hear more about that later. So that's your number one. That's your number one,
is.
Jordan, is it? Yeah.
Yes, he's my number one.
Gar Saxon.
Oh, you meant villain. I'm just kidding.
Villain. What did I say? Oh, no.
I'm just saying, like,
No.
I'm making the
Moldalorian.
Yeah,
Moldalorian. Is that what they're called?
yeah, he's
I
a
always struggle to
Moldalorian.
say that. Moldalorian. That's
Yeah.
really like a
Love
mouthful to
that.
say.
Love that
Whew.
for him.
Well, my number one favorite villain. Again, I have a big like skew towards the animated series because my number one villain is Admiral Thrawn, who was introduced. Well, we have him in the books, but then he comes into the Rebel series, and we got a name drop of him in Mando season 2. So I think we're going to get some more Thrawn. But I love him for the similar way I love him.
I completely forgot all about that. I was like,
right?
What are you talking about? And then I was like, yes.
Come on, yeah. So because like, where is he?
Yeah.
But yeah, for the same
My
reasons,
bad,
I kind
y'all,
of love Palpatine. Is that Thrawn I find him actually a bit more so than Palpatine, manipulative, and he's so intelligent, like so acutely intelligent of how evil he is. He's my number one villain because he's like, I hate him so much. Like, that's why. It's like, he's just, every time I see him, I'm like, oh, you're so clever, damn it. You're so smart. You thought that through, damn. Like, I get so angry seeing, him in his story and what he does to the rebellion and all that kind of stuff. But that's kind of why he's my favorite, because I just hate him so much.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes a good villain, hey, I guess. Now, Claire, what is your number one favorite villain of all Star Wars time?
Of all time, okay, maybe cliche. And I still don't really look at him as a total villain now that I'm thinking about it. So I might have to revise my answer. But I still, Darth Vader for me is just like, Vader is, it's just because he's the classic, like what you at first think is like this horrible like person, and then you end up finding out so much about the character. And it's just, when I think of Star Wars, that's just what I think of is Vader. But I was also going to say, which this is a really weird one, Jabba the Hutt, I kind of really also
yes,
like as a villain.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point.
Like, I know he's like more of like gangster villain, but like I just have a thing for, I don't know what it is, but like
it's got a thing for big slugs, man.
Big slug guys who like have a pit with a rancor in it.
Just gets me. Oh, incredible.
No. But I think that's what's so cool about Star Wars in general, is there's just such a great selection of characters, like villains. Like, you're asking me and I'm like, I don't know. There's like so many good ones for so many different reasons. But
yeah. And I think you got a good point, because it's like we have the title villain, but there's so many different ways you can be that, and it manifests and it shows itself as being a villain. Yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really good point.
Make it a gray area,
big gray area. Yeah. We'll read some of your comments in the chat for now. Jordan, do you have the chat there as well?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so Chris's number one is Boba Fett. Well, yeah, again,
Boba Fett.
like that was
Boba Fett ain't no villain.
Villain, I don't know.
Chris, we gotta talk, because I disagree. Yeah, we'll talk later, Chris.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
Joel Davis.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, you go, Jordan.
He said my favorite parody of my favorite song from WandaVision, Agatha All Along. He said it's Palpatine All Along.
Palpatine all along.
If you love Agatha Harkness and you love the Agatha All Along song, you are okay in my book. Shout out WandaVision
so good
for that beautiful
Thank you, WandaVision.
piece of music.
We also have Chad
we
saying
have a Krennic.
Krennic.
Sorry, I'm reading ahead.
Yeah, no, that's good. Boom, Krennic. Grand Moff Tarkin, yes, the classic. Again, another fantastic original trilogy presence there. It was a great character, and I'm glad he's in the trailer. But Claire, watch Bad Batch.
It's okay.
Incredible, because we get more Moff Tarkin. We get more Mimi. really good.
Claire,
in
we're
it.
gonna have you back on to talk about.
Yeah,
like,
can you watch it and then you'll come back? Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
you'll just-
100%.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
let's do
will.
that.
Yeah, I have like so much homework to do. No.
Oh, I
Also,
love it. I love it.
Honorable mention, second sister from Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, yes.
Second, or is it
Oh.
seventh? No, seventh is in Rebels. Second is
Second, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Second sister. Yes.
Yes.
We
Love
need I
her.
want her in OB series.
Mm,
Grand
yes.
Thrawn, yes. Thank you, Chad, for agreeing. You need to read the new Thrawn books. I know. Again, homework. That's the thing about the Star Wars universe.
There's so much.
There's so
Yeah,
much. There's so much
there's-
homework to be doing. Oh my
There's
goodness.
quite a bit.
Yes, quite a bit. So much good villainy in the Star Wars universe. Thank you for your top villains in the chat. They were, a lot of them agreed with us, which is good. It's
I like it.
yeah, we all like-minded Star Wars fans. So that brings us to the end of the show. Yeah.
Love that for us. Thank you guys so much for joining us once again on this very special episode of Star Wars Culture. And Claire, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Yeah.
It's very fun. I'm happy to talk
Definitely.
Star Wars anytime.
Oh, yeah.
As
could talk
are
about
we.
that.
Hence why we do this every Wednesday.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's so
Fabulous.
good.
Yeah. But yeah, be sure you guys hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell if you are watching us on YouTube, and follow us on Culture Slate over on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, all at Culture Slate. We will be back next Wednesday at 4 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. EST. And Hannah, where can they find us on your neck of the woods? In your neck of the
My
woods?
neck of the woods.
Yes.
My half a world away.
Yes.
You can find us here. It's Thursday in Australia time. That's 9 a.m. on a Thursday. And Claire, also, if people want to find you on social media and they want to see more of your stuff, where can they find you?
You can find me at the Rusty Ranger.
The Rusty Ranger.
The Rusty Ranger.
That
yeah.
sounds like a Star Wars name, actually. Like a.
Thank you. I'll be that too. No. So yeah, no, I'm the Rusty Ranger on everything. So go ahead.
Wonderful. And be sure to check out her stuff. It's like I said at the start of the show, I saw your Instagram and I was just like, oh my goodness, she's magical. It was incredible.
Thank you.
So be sure to go follow her over there, and reminder, our Patreon as well. We have all that juicy behind the scenes content that you will be missing out on. You need to go check it out. So check us out at patreon.com /Culture Slate. That is it for this week. We will see you very soon next week. And as always, may the force be with you.